Hi, how are you? My name is Alexis Hart, and this is my stance on the Nike case 1. My stance is just basically that I do believe wholeheartedly that Nike does deserve to be criticized. I mean, I know there are several companies that are doing the same exact thing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's right because they're doing it. I believe that just because Nike is offering job opportunities or creating job opportunities in poor countries, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're entitled to go against ethics, a code of ethics. Here in the U.S., which is where Nike was originally founded, in the U.S., and then they just happen to expand into other countries and, offer those opportunities in other countries. Here in the U.S., there are a code of ethics, worth ethics that we abide by in all businesses and all industries. So for Nike to feel like they can, branch off from those things and detach themselves from those things, I just don't feel like it's correct. I just feel like maybe they feel like because it's overseas or because they're overseas and these factories and these workers are overseas and they need the money, that they won't speak out against it. But that doesn't necessarily make it the correct thing to do. And if something is wrong and it's being brought to light, or whether it's being brought to light or not, it should still be addressed. I do believe that in order for them to prevent the charges that they were facing for the sweatshops, I believe that they've done like numerous audits. Even Philip Knight, the executive chairman, the executive chairman of Nike, he's made several statements in regards to them trying to push forward and persevere from this situation, whereas certain things and working conditions were being highlighted because they weren't of morality. They didn't highlight or they didn't execute what we know to be good or acceptable working conditions. I do believe that all firms should consider the corporate social responsibilities. And when they're making investment decisions, I believe that those core values, they kind of sort of like touch every aspect of the working industry or working businesses. So if the corporate social responsibilities are the foundations of all firms, then you don't encounter situations such as this, whereas like you're in the tabloids and you're being criticized and you're under the microscope for doing things. And Nike is a company that with its branding and its marketing, it highlights it highlights diversity, it highlights good change. And for a company like this to be so big, whereas like it's big on diversity and diversifying things and, embracing change, good change rather, and then to be, behind the scenes and conducting or accepting these working conditions is just quite outlandish, if you ask me. And I just feel like there's a huge difference, I mean, a lot of people will say, or the argument might be that, minimum wage is arbitrary. But at the same instance, we're talking about $1 billion company that's paying workers 100, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me because I wrote it in the paper, but I don't know it exactly right now, but I think $156 monthly is what Nike is paying majority of its workers. So $150, that's worth one pair of sneakers at a Nike outlet or at a Nike department store. So you mean to tell me $1 billion company such as Nike can't afford to pay its workers more? And you're comparing it to the fact that in most of these countries, the wages are pretty close and they're pretty close in proximity. They're the same. But that's what those countries can afford to pay its workers. Nike can afford to pay its workers more. And there's a huge difference between poverty wages and living wages. So in this case, I feel like Nike is just doing the bare minimum, and they should be ridiculed for what they're doing, and they should be trying to, especially now since we're in this era where everything is being brought to light. We have social media, so you can't really hide the things that you do. So I just feel like Nike should just take the necessary steps and precautions moving forward to just avoid situations such as this.